Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast, and we are joined by Samantha. Welcome everyone.
Hi everybody.
We hope you've had a really good week, and we're doing things different this time.
Yes,
aren't
we are. We'll be doing a bit of Q&A today. We've been receiving a lot of questions through our website, and we won't be doing chapter reading today, but we're going to be doing some Q&A so you can get to know us a little bit one-on-one.
Yeah, so because we've noticed a trend, people have been asking us the same question, basically in Australia, in America, in England. So we thought we'd address these questions for you, since we're receiving a lot of questions about us and how we write. So we hope to answer them as best as we can.
Okay, I'll read the questions out. You can answer, then I'll answer if you want. Okay, question number 1. How do you write, separate or together?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think that we write that we actually write together on the same keyboard, which is impossible. That wouldn't happen. But what we do is we do plan the book together. We do the plot outline, character outline, anything you can imagine to bring the book together. We do it together, but the actual writing we do separate. So she's on her computer, I'm on my computer separately. We can even write on separate days, but our writing is done separate, and we have faith in what we write. So I know what she writes, she knows what I write, and then we come together and we read each other's work.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do a lot of plotting and research together. So in that instance, yes, we do need to be together to research what the characters are going to sound like, what are they going to look like. We need to be on the same page with that. However, though, if along the way things do get changed, we do need to let each other know. We send each other chapters back and forth. We are critical with each other. We are not shy to say, hey, this was not written well, this doesn't sound right, rewrite it.
Yeah, that's true. So we the plot outline is always getting updated, because we're always going to make changes. We're going to delete stuff, add stuff. We're going to alter things, or maybe we thought something was going to work, and later down the track we realized it's actually stalling the actual story. It's not good for it. So we're always sending each other the updated version of the plot and of the characters. Even if there's a character we thought that would work, we find out in the end there's really no use for them. So either way, we both know what's happening. We're always on the same page, and I suppose that's where good communication comes in. Always keeping each other up to date. But to make a short question even shorter, as we answer it, we do write separately, but we do know exactly what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. Is your book a plot-driven or character-driven? I'm going to say it's plot-driven.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Because yes, you do have the characters, and yes, we take them out of their comfort zone, and they're just kind of thrust into such a dangerous situation. But it is, in our opinion, plot-driven only because of the grand enormity of the situation that they're in, when there's so much danger lurking around. So yes, a lot of books that we read are character-driven. But I think we prefer us to be plot-driven, because it really asks the question, well, what would you do if this happens to you?
Exactly, yeah. And it is an unusual situation where we do throw our characters in. They do need to find the solution and try to survive at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I definitely agree. Definitely plot-driven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no one's safe in our world.
No, except us. Since we made it, we're safe. But I think it's plot-driven simply by the fact, just like the first book here that we wrote, The Door, it's just really shows how, we had one person say to us they feel that it was more character-driven, but, even with book 2, Cinema 4, it's the actual, the grand danger, the enormity of the situation that they're in. They're just normal, everyday people. Yeah. So it just shows what would they do, what are they going to do, but if you were in that situation, what would you do?
Question number 3. When did you decide to write together? This is an interesting question.
Well, this December is going to be 6 years, actually, I think. So I think it all happened when we were actually in Knoxfield, and we were having lunch, and it's really, I think it was just meant to be. I had this idea for a book, and I approached Sam when we were eating, and it was amazingly that she had an idea for a book, and we kind of thought, why don't we just put them together? Since we both love writing, it would just make sense. We know that we work well together. Why not just write a book together and see how that goes? So the rest is history. Now, you know, book 1 has been published, book 2 is finished, book 3 is finished. So it's just, you know, it's just something very natural that's happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that day. We were sitting down, we were having lunch together, and the idea was born.
Exactly.
We both had a similar idea. And the funny thing is, Cinema 4 was written first,
Yeah.
before The Door. And
Yeah.
along the way, we just thought it's probably better to release The Door as book 1.
Yeah, it made more
It just
sense.
made more sense
Yeah.
to us.
Because so I'll tell you quickly, I had the idea that what if this girl goes to America's largest mall? It's the largest mall, you know, it cannot get any bigger than that. She goes to the toilet, but when she comes out, everyone's gone. And Samantha had the idea, well, you know, what if, you know, am I saying too much? Or like, you know, Samantha
go for it.
she had the idea, what if you went to a cinema to watch a movie?
You fell asleep?
Yeah, you fall asleep, as some people do, I've seen it. You wake up and you're completely alone. So we thought, why don't we mesh those two ideas together and see what happens? So that's how Cinema 4 was created, and we did write Cinema 4 first. That was supposed to be the first book, but ultimately when we wrote book 2, which is really book 1 now, The Door, we just decided it made more sense to switch those books around.
Switch it around, yeah. Okay.
You'll know why later, because a lot of characters, they're all connected. That's why, and it really doesn't matter how many books we end up writing, everything always goes back to book 1.
That's true.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the world of the Night Owl Chronicles?
Well, it's the world of the Night Owl Chronicles is the world that we created. It's governed and overlooked by the owl, as you can see here. That we absolutely love him. He's our mascot. He's our friend. But it's the world or this dimension that we've created of the Night Owl Chronicles is very dangerous. There are
It's weird.
nothing makes sense.
Creepy. Nothing
There's
makes sense.
something always in every shadow. Happy to say that we're immune to it though, because we did make it.
That's true.
That's why, you know, if you see our Facebook page, you know, Instagram, on all social media, you'll see that there are photos of us in very weird situations in worlds that, you know, it's almost like Alice in Wonderland where nothing makes sense. But yeah, we're very calm and happy in there because it's, you know, the Night Owl Chronicles, which probably you can see we're wearing our t-shirts today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we wear them every week, but you know, it's very dangerous. But like they say, or what we always say is follow the owl because he's going to lead you to safety. So, yeah.
I'm going to say one thing though about the world of the Night Owl Chronicles, that every character that we introduce, even though that character may seem pointless to the story, there is a reason, because every character is somehow connected to the next book, directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
So you will see a character that will pop up in a scene, and you will question why did they even write that character in it? There is a reason. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I think it's almost like we're doing a family tree of characters and
Teasing the reader, I reckon.
yeah.
Too.
So, but it's also our way of introducing the actual character. It gives you a little bit of a glimpse of what to expect. So, I know we've said this before, but for those that are just seeing this for the first time, like in book 1, for example, we've got Josh Riley. He's the main protagonist here, and his neighbour is Isabel Humphrey, and she only makes 2 brief appearances in the book. And you know, probably the reader has every right to say, well, why did you add her? Because she's not adding anything to the story. But what you find out is in book 2. Wait. Okay. Yeah. So, as I was saying, she is the main character in book 2, which is titled Cinema 4. So she gets her own story. And, you know, even there are some police officers in book 1 of The Door. They're called Officer Walker and Officer Carter. And yes, they do make an appearance in book 2. So basically it shows how everyone is connected. And then you'll find some characters in Cinema 4, which is book 2, that they're connected and have their own story in future books. So everyone is connected. It is a family tree.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Next question. How are the artistic shots done? I think this is probably more a question for me. You will probably notice on social media and on our website all these beautiful pictures that we show. Now, they are fake. They are. I have a Photoshop background, so I do a lot of cut and paste and manipulate photos. It is a lot of fun to do, to be honest. The reason why we do that is just to show you our world. Try to show you what the Night Owl Chronicles is.
I agree. I think it's like it's giving a glimpse into our minds. You know, it's not saying that it's twisted or anything, but it just shows that there's no limits to our imagination. You know, there's one photo which is a favorite one where we're actually, I believe we're in a house and it's full of water and we're swimming with a shark, which for some reason we called him Henry the Shark. But, you know, obviously we're not really swimming with a shark. Or there's one where with, you know, it's Christmas, we're putting decorations on the tree and there's a Krampus, the monster in the back. So it's basically those photos, they're not done just randomly. It is a glimpse into our imagination and what the world of the Night Owl Chronicles is, because nothing makes sense in that world.
That's right.
Yeah.
And look, if you do want to improve your Photoshop skills, there's heaps and heaps of YouTube channels that teach you how to use Photoshop if you do want to do Photoshop manipulation. This one here in the background is a good example. This is three shots that were put together. One YouTube channel that I personally like is called Phlearn. That's Phlearn. I reckon that's probably one of the top favorite YouTube channels. So
It's very educational.
Very educational. I've learned stuff from that YouTube channel, things that I didn't know myself. So I recommend it. If you want to improve your Photoshop skills, check out Phlearn, their YouTube channel. Okay. What can we expect from Cinema 4?
Well, I always ask what is it that you can't expect, because the thing is, it's a lot darker, it's a lot more fast-paced. You know, I feel like when we did The Door, it was more of a very slow process of the build-up. In other words, it was a much more slower process to see what's on the other side of the door. Whereas we learned very quickly, or the reader will see very quickly, that in chapter 2 already, that's when you just get straight into it. So it's a lot more fast-paced, it's a lot more darker. You know, there's just darkness in the book. There's a lot of just, you know, is this it? Is this the end? So it's, we are testing the boundaries whilst, you know, keeping in mind we want the reader to still enjoy the book. We want them to enjoy the reading and the fast-paced writing that we try, hopefully, that, you know, it's a good fast-paced story. But I just think it's a lot darker. But we do touch on, and it was something that we were talking about, is that we do touch on that fear of isolation. You know, some people would say, you know, if I was alone in in a mall, I would grab all these beautiful clothes and beauty products and all that. But the thing is, Isabel Humphrey finds herself alone, but the problem is, you know, there is something very sinister controlling everything. So there's a reason why she's alone and she cannot leave. So that's it's actually, I keep saying it's very dark.
Yeah, I kind of love more where it's set.
Yeah.
In the cinema, and then it moves on to the mall, and the fact that everybody is missing is weird and creepy. So I kind of probably love more Cinema 4 than The Door. The fact how it progresses and what you find out along the way of the book. So
yeah,
I absolutely loved writing Cinema 4.
This one's definitely plot driven, because it's, you know, if you try and picture yourself that you had the opportunity to go to the world's largest mall, and, you know, it cannot get any bigger than that. It's so easy to get lost. There's, you know, thousands of stores in there. You go to the movies, you fall asleep, but when you wake up, everyone is gone. Everyone, even their belongings, everything is just gone, and you realise that escape is impossible. And, you know, you really feel that isolation there. That it's almost like you can't see anyone, but you feel like someone is watching you. So it does really touch on isolation. You know, some people can handle it. The majority can't. I don't know, but it's just that emptiness, that vast emptiness that she feels, and she doesn't know why this is happening. So it is very, just I'm gonna say it's just it's a very dark situation she's put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Why do you love to write? Why do you love to write?
I think because we get to create characters and situations that never existed before. Because, you know, as I say, in the world of the Night Owl Chronicles, anything's possible. So why not create the impossible? So we have the pleasure, the luxury, actually, we're very lucky to write and create characters that we actually feel attached to, that we actually love. And situations where we think to ourselves, what would we do?
That's right.
So,
I personally love to take the reader on a journey.
Yeah.
Where you can forget about your problems, your everyday things, and let us take you on a journey and blow your mind away.
Well, you know, we think reading should be fun. Writing should be fun. Reading should be fun as well. And that's one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to take the fun out of that. It's important. You know, yes, it is aimed for young adults, but, you know, adults can read it as well. But, you know, we just want to make sure that it's also fun as we write it, we want to enjoy it, which we do.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
we definitely want the reader to enjoy it as well. So it's, you know, that's our aim, is just to entertain everyone.
That's right. Okay, just a couple questions left. Any advice for emerging writers? This is a good one.
Well, listen, I know it's easier said than done, but if you are just starting, or even if you have the idea, or you're in the middle of your manuscript or almost finishing, the only thing I could say is make sure you finish it.
Yes.
You know, I always ask some other authors when they say, "Oh, I've been writing the manuscript for so many years," and I always say to them, "Well, how bad do you want to finish the story? How much do you believe in your story?" So whatever it takes, you will find a way, even if it's 1 hour, 30 minutes at night. Is just make sure you finish it.
Finish the book.
It's important. Just finish it. And please, you know, I've said this to Sam many times, and we've both experienced it, that we get advice. We get advice from people that have never written a book, or, you know, people are in the industry. So suddenly, you know, yes, people will have a lot of opinions. You know, I actually had once, many years ago, an editor just saying that my writing was the worst in the world that she's ever seen. But that actually didn't stop me though. So I'm really going to say is, unless it's constructive criticism, always listen, because you can always learn.
That's right.
Keep writing, finish the book, find a really good editor, and if you're lucky to get an agent, just, you know, it's really more about having that grit and persevering.
Correct, yes.
Finish the book. Just make sure you finish it, polish it up and get it edited. The rest will hopefully take care of itself though, but just never give up. I know it's easier said than done, and if you're watching this, you've probably gotten a million rejections like we did at the start, but it's just important to keep persevering.
Keep going.
It will pay off. It will.
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
Whatever genre you're writing, whatever it is, write to the point that it scares you. And what I mean by that if you cannot convince yourself what you've written, you're not going to convince the reader. The reader needs to be convinced, but you do as well. So you need to feel it. The story needs to really...
I think it's got to come to life for the writer.
It needs to come to life. You need to do your homework. The story and the characters especially, it needs to seem real. You need to feel it.
Well, that's true. You know, there was once a saying, and they said that if you truly want to know a writer, if you really, really want to know them, you have to read what they've written, because that's when a writer basically essentially bears their soul. Okay, so yes, we're not writing non-fiction, we're not writing romance, we are writing, you know, supernatural, horror, paranormal books though. It's because that's what we love to write though. Not everybody's going to love it, and that's fine. You know, there are authors that just do pure romance, or they do, you know, period books and all that, and that's fine though. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, and Sam was right, it doesn't matter what genre you write, you have to, as you're writing it, if you can feel it, you can see it, and you're convinced about it and it resonates with you on some level, then your readers, the right readers, will come and they will also feel exactly what you have felt as well.
That's right. That's right. And it's just one thing before we continue on to the next question. Something that we were critiqued about. What we were trying to make the reader learn, or what message are we trying to get across? I'm not trying to get any message across or make the readers learn anything.
Yeah.
We purely write these books, these stories, purely for entertainment and to scare our readers. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
But we've had some people say to us, what message are you trying to get across? What do you want the reader to learn? I don't want the reader to learn anything. If anything, I want the reader to be entertained.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we're not really qualified to write books to teach people something, you know, or for them to learn something about us. You know, there are plenty of people out there qualified to do that. We simply love to write scary stories and we just want to take the reader on a journey. So, you know, again, unfortunately, yes, there are people out there that do take the fun out of writing, they take the fun out of reading. You know, I actually read an article once where it said that, I believe it was a lady, I think she was an agent, if my memory serves me correct, and she said that not everybody's meant to write a book. And I strongly disagreed with her because I definitely believe that everybody has a potential to write a bestseller. They just, obviously, they need to do, as Samantha said, they need to do their research, they need to finish it, get it really polished by an editor. But yes, I believe everyone has the power to write a really good book and has the potential to be a bestseller, absolutely. So, you know, with those naysayers, negative people, it is hard, especially when they critique your work. But like I said, just finish it.
Just finish it.
Finish the book and do your research. Find the right editor. The rest will, it's almost like a snowball effect. So once you do that, it's almost as if the right people come to you as well. So it's, you know, you've also got to ask yourself, why are you writing?
Why are you writing? And you will learn along the way.
Yeah.
You will learn so much along the way, and you will probably look back from the first book you've written and you will probably cringe and say, I can't believe I wrote that. But you will see the progress that you've done from the second, third, fourth, and so on.
Yeah, but that's going to happen, and it's normal because, you know, obviously, like Sam said, you're going to keep learning. And remember, writing is a form of art. It's not brain science where you have to get it right on the spot or else something catastrophic is going to happen. So it is just like painting, singing, acting, writing. It's all an art. So the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Yes, we look back at some stuff that we've written and we do cringe. Like, what were we thinking when we wrote that? But it's fine. We accept it because everyone's growing as a writer. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just two more questions. Who are your favorite authors? I have a few.
Well, us? No, I'm just kidding. We have a lot of there's probably too many to list here, but at the top of my head, one of my favorites, is only because I know that we both grew up with his books, is definitely R.L. Stein, when he did his Goosebumps series and Fear Street.
Oh, Fear Street,
which was, you know, more for the teenagers, you know.
Teenagers.
And what attracted me first was the book cover. And, you know, they always said never judge a book by its cover, but in this instance, I always judged it because...
I loved the book covers. They were colourful, they really...
Yeah,
it was got your attention.
Yeah, there was just the book covers for Fear Street series and the Goosebumps series when we were younger just fascinated us. So I wanted to read those books, and obviously, you know, they're probably a bit tattered, but we still have the original ones with us, which we refuse to get rid of. You know, there's obviously Stephen King, who is obviously the king of horror.
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed reading Susan Hill, The Woman in Black. That was a scary book. But entertaining. I wanted to know what happened in the end. And when I watched the movie, I thought the movie was great as well. Like, they changed it a bit, but it was still done well, in my opinion. Like, I still enjoyed the book and the movie. Yeah, it's,
that's like it's a really good classic ghost story, but it's just written really well.
Written well.
I actually remember I was reading it alone at night when everyone was asleep, and I actually managed to scare myself because she kind of, it was written in a way where you could almost feel the woman in black next to you. So it's actually not a big book. It's a pretty thin book, but it's just written so well, and it gets straight to the point. And it's just it's one of those dark stories where she manages to scare you without any gore or blood or anything explicit. So we know, and I can speak for Sam, that if you can scare us without any of that blood and gore, we know you've written a really good story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right. I enjoyed Coraline.
Oh yeah, Neil Gaiman.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. Even though it was critiqued a lot that it was too scary for children.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I thought it was fantastic, and I loved the movie and the book. I loved it, I enjoyed it, and I loved the weirdness of it. The quirkiness. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but, obviously waking up and going to see your mum and your dad, and instead of eyes, have got buttons for eyes, and I want to sew buttons on your eyes. Yes, it is twisted, but it works, and it's a really good, solid story where I remember, they say, be careful what you wish for. And it's almost like they're showing that Coraline's not grateful for what she has, and when she sees the other side, that's perfect, and she's got the perfect parents and all this, but it's at the end, it's really not what she really wanted. So it's, yes, I remember it was heavily criticized when it came out that it was just too scary for children.
Too scary for children.
The illustrations actually in the book too, they said it was just too twisted, but you know what? It didn't stop the success of the book. Hence why they did the movie out of it. We watched both, and we actually enjoyed both of them.
I loved it.
We know that they put an extra character in the movie.
Oh yeah, yes, they did.
YB. That I don't think he wasn't actually in the book though, but for us it was a great story.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and well, that's the thing. We know that Tim Burton himself, obviously hasn't written, like full on books though, but his imagination though is fantastic though. So not an actual full-time author as I'm saying, but yeah, he's one of the list up there with people that we like to read anything from. So
last question, what are your favorite TV shows and movies? This is a good one. I'm not sure why you want to know that, but okay.
Well, I understand why you want to know that, because it's obviously they say what we see, what we read, what we do, our interest, it does heavily influence us as individuals. So I have I'm going to start off with childhood series that I've actually started to watch again. So the Goosebumps one.
Oh yeah.
I actually brought them all on DVD. As soon as I saw them, it just brought back memories. I remember after school, I think it was 4 or 4:30, they used to put on one episode every night, and that was, for me, that was just pure entertainment. And then there was Are You Afraid of the Dark? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
That was
so
good.
Yeah, so
I love The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
I love The Simpsons, Family Guy.
Yeah.
I love The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Fear
Yeah.
The Walking Dead.
New season's coming, I believe, next month.
This month.
This month. There you go. Even
this
better.
month.
Yeah.
Season 9.
Season
Got
9.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
I will tell you the last movie I saw at the cinema. I saw it with you. The Nun. Wow.
Alec, yeah.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was really I was disappointed that they said that apparently it failed to impress people.
It impressed me.
I really liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was fantastic.
Again, it was very dark, and that's what I loved, is that they managed to keep... we saw everyone in the cinemas, they were on edge, without using anything explicit, and that's what we loved, is that they could tell a really good, dark, demonic story and just keep everyone guessing. And we loved it. We thought, Valak, the ultimate, demon that escapes from hell, and it was just a really good story.
I thought it was a good story.
Absolutely, and the tagline when it says God ends here, it's very grim, it's very dark, it's like there's no hope, and I'd watch it again, absolutely.
Yeah, I would too, actually.
Yeah. Even, I think we saw the new version of It.
Oh yeah,
Pennywise.
It was good. I loved It.
That was really good. We actually remember watching the original, with Tim Burton, and no, it wasn't Tim Burton. What's his name?
Tim Curry. Tim
Curry. That's it. So I'm talking about Tim Burton. Tim Curry. That's it. So I've got the two Tims confused.
We're kids from the 80s.
Yes. We saw the original one. That scared us a lot. I remember it was on TV and we weren't supposed to watch it, but I remember every time my parents walked out of the room, we'd change the channel. That's like, Freddy Krueger, and when Halloween was on, Jason Voorhees, we always wanted to watch it. And now that we've seen the new version,
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was really good.
It was
Fantastic.
It was done very well. Absolutely. We're looking forward to the second part coming out soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that is it for questions. However, though, we still are getting a lot of questions. We will answer them along the way on our episodes. So please keep sending us questions and we will answer them as much as we can. But we thought doing this video will help you
get to know us
get
better.
to know us and get an understanding. Thank you again for sending us these questions. That's pretty much it for today.
Yeah, so, next episode we are going to read, because we left off with chapter, I believe it was chapter 6. So we are, we're going to read chapter 7, which is titled Replace. So for those of you who have been keeping up with us as we've been reading The Door, chapter by chapter, just think about the title. It's called Replace. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's not as easy as you think it is. So obviously we're going to see what Josh is going to do under the title Replace. So stay tuned.
Thank you everybody for watching and for listening. We appreciate you all and we'll see you all again next week. And remember,
Follow the owl, everyone.
follow the owl. Bye everyone.
Bye.